Good morning, traders. I am Stephen Davis, Senior Market Strategist, RJO Futures. It's Friday, September 18th. We're here to talk to you about the grain markets here in the next minute or two. Okay, the corn market. First chart of corn. Very impressive chart of corn here now, above the 200-day moving average. See that gap weeks ago, and as long as that gap is intact on corn, I think the bulls are betting on the right horse here. Corn trending higher. Corn is 65 cents now off its August lows, and that's about the top of the rallies here in the last 4 or 5 years in corn every summer and early fall. And so we'll have to see if we don't get a little bit of pullback here with harvest picking up here. The Chinese buying spree continues. Very strong corn sales again this week. The typhoon in China has done rain damage, and there's talk that maybe China, 5 to 10 million tons of corn lost in China. So China needs our U.S. corn. Their hog herd is very strong. Their population gigantic. So, in China, too, they've got record high domestic corn prices, and so it just kind of seems like the corn market, we should be a little bit higher. Our corn is very, very cheap for the world to buy. The soybean market. Now, here's the next chart of soybeans, and look at these charts on soybeans now. Count the waves on this chart. It's multiple waves higher, not just 1, 2, or 3. So this looks very, very good here. Again, soybeans are $1.60 off their lows from August, so that's about the highest we've rallied here in the last 4 or 5 years. And some analysts will say that soybeans, sooner or later, they'll sell off a little bit here, but this is very impressive, and China continues to buy U.S. soybeans, and I truly believe it's going to continue. Soybean meal, very strong here now. We got the funds buying soybean meal. The hog herd in China is gigantic, like I mention every week, and this the demand for soybean meal really impressive. So next chart is wheat, and wheat looks a little top heavy here, maybe backing and filling in wheat, and I would advise buying wheat on weakness, on a sell-off, and I'd advise buying the row crops on a sell-off too. Argentina has the cheapest wheat in the world today. Russia's wheat prices have been firming up, and Russia is still $13 below U.S. hard red winter wheat, but nonetheless, all the wheat prices in the world here trading higher. Dry weather in Argentina, so we'll be watching that very closely. There's dryness in northern Brazil. We're going to be watching like that very closely as well. So a little comment on the September 30th crop report coming up, and typically the end of September the focus is on the yields on the row crops coming out of the field, but September 30th there's chatter that last year's soybean crop was understated, and then we're going to get an all wheat position here the end of the month in September. So charts look good. China's buying U.S. grain, and it kind of looks like it's going to continue here. Let's all have an excellent weekend.